Now joining us, somebody who's been watching the budget, also been watching this entire, or watching India for a very, very long time indeed. Andrew, what do you think the expectations were when the rest of the world was looking at this budget and the expectations they may have had? Maybe they wouldn't have gone into all the fine print out there. What do you think? How do you think they're going to react to this budget?
I think Nirmala Sitharaman is right that India is a bright star in economic terms. It is the fastest growing of the world's major economies, and that's likely to remain the case in the coming year, even if the pace of that growth slackens just a little. I think there's a lot of interest, particularly in the political aspect of the budget. Obviously, it's the last full budget before India's next election. Nirmala Sitharaman delivered it with a great deal of confidence. She's got a very good story to tell. As I was watching, I got up very early, it's still well before breakfast time here, to watch the full speech. And budget speeches are very dense and detailed, but I was waiting for the political top line. And of course, it came at the end with the quite significant reduction on the income tax burden on the middle class. Whether that is wise economically, I'm not absolutely sure. There is a great deal of inequality in India, as the Oxfam report recently has emphasized, but it is clearly a political sweetener with an election imminent.
Okay, Andrew, just hold that thought for a minute. Let's just look at the politics of this a little bit, as he said. And then we'll come to the economics of it. Politically, okay, major rational. Now, not everyone is on the new regime. Most people are on the old regime. Although it seems from this that there's a clear signal the new regime should be the default. And now it actually makes sense. I think a lot of people will move to the new regime because it's economically attractive to actually do this. So that's message one. On the first part A of the speech, which is where you normally say, oh, we're going to do this for this section, this for this state, all of those election-related things, that there was some of it, but not too much.
Yes, I saw that. There was no geography, no election this year, except for the Karnataka bit, which raised a few halls, cheers and hooting and all that, except that Karnataka bit. But I think it was very good tactics. You know, she decided this time I'm going to have good capex, I mean, to keep the growth momentum going, remain the fastest economy. But I'm also going to listen to this middle class. I mean, it's not a particular marine industry or something. It is 40 crore people and urban. And the thing about the middle class, it talks a lot. So it influences the other people also. So I think it was all for 35,000 crores, Vikram. Got all this done in 35,000 crores. I think it's pretty smart. I think it's a very good political, strategy that has been adopted.
Okay. Andrew, we obviously got some time to dissect the budget, so let's just do this step by step. The politics of it, the economics of it, the impact on the India story part of it. So going sort of step by step, let's just look at the politics, because you started that piece off. As P. Vijay is saying, 35,000 crore rupees, you've given something which the middle classes are going to jump onto. They may have forgotten other schemes, but they may remember, okay, our income tax has been cut quite a lot. What else would you have been looking for from a political point of view? Or do you think that's enough? Just go with the middle classes right now.
Well, I think in terms of something which is sort of preparing the ground for the next nationwide election, this is the key thing. Whether it's socially or economically the best move, I think, is one thing. After all, the direct income tax burden on India's middle class is, in global terms, quite low, and there is an argument for higher personal taxation. But it's clearly a measure which is designed to it's designed to help the BJP in next year's election. She didn't really need to do a lot more because the BJP doesn't really face much of a challenge. So but nevertheless, there is a rhythm in the way in which these things are done, and across the world, broadly, the direct tax burden is reduced in the last budget before a general election, and that's exactly what Nirmala Sitharaman has done, and that's what I would have expected her to do.
Okay. again, from the point of view of the other demands and the stuff that was coming in, nothing happened on capital gains tax, which is probably a relief. No major soak the rich measures came. Did that surprise you?
As he said, I don't think Modi needs to prove his credentials. I mean, nobody is saying that he's pampering the rich or anything like that. So I think he's looking at it more from wealth creation. These are the guys who have helped, especially if you see the new millionaires, they are from the IT sector, the startups. So he doesn't want a signal that we are back to the socialist days. Let things be, you know. So I think there was no targeted hitting at the rich, which would not have got, India is a very peculiar country. The middle class is not angry with the upper classes or anything like that. There is no social conflict or something you see. People are not unhappy if some owner of Flipkart makes a lot of money. Even in normal life, I don't see that. They're held as role models for the kids to follow, work hard, you can also become this. So I think there is very little political mileage to be gained.
That's a really interesting political point, which, Andrew, I'm just going to toss that to you, and then let's turn to the economics of this. P.N. Vijay says, may well be right, actually, that India is not necessarily a place today. Maybe it was the case earlier where, soak the rich got you a lot of political votes. He's saying it's not necessarily the case right now.
I think that's probably true. But nevertheless, as I understood what the finance minister was saying, we've now got a top income tax rate of 39%. That globally is very low. And there is really a problem in perception. This is not so much a political problem, but one of perception, that there is profound inequality in India, and it's getting worse. And I think one way of addressing that perception is to have higher direct tax rates on the very rich. And that clearly hasn't happened this time round.